evening, Winthrop votes. Welcome to another tight wire act with technology. And are you sure that was me?
Well, I guess it was me.
Because I just saw all your posts on Facebook.
Yeah, well, you know, and it's always like that. Like I had said, welcome to the world of live streaming.
Yep.
It never goes off the way you want it. So we're 13 minutes behind. It's okay, though. It's okay. We're on. We're good.
We made it. We made it.
Yeah.
So how was your 4th of July in St. Augustine's, by the way?
That place it's just the bomb. That place is so great on the 4th of July.
Good.
Everybody's friendly. No one's bumping and crowding you and just trying to shuffle in on your spot. And everybody's just nice. Every restaurant you go to, the servers are nice. It's like that Southern hospitality. And the fireworks display is just really, really done well.
Southern hospitality. You know, interestingly, before we get into this, so I wanted to, so today's kind of a sad day in the Sacco family and for some in the town of Winthrop and some folks who watch the show. My cousin Alan lost his 4-year battle with pancreatic cancer this morning. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. Anyway,
Sorry
he's a Yankee Doodle birthday, though. So on July 4th, you were watching fireworks. It was celebrating Al's birthday. Good old Al.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry to hear that, buddy.
Well, thank you.
Sure, a lot of people are.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people.
And I wonder, I know his brother Michael. I know we just had the event for Ramona and David Green. I know Michael, his brother Michael played ball with Green. I'm sure Al played sometimes too, if not pickup games. Anyway, probably knew each other is what I'm getting at.
All right.
So thank you, Elizabeth Ludi. I appreciate the thought. We had an interesting Friday before, what was it, last Friday? Winter party?
Yeah.
That I wanted to talk about today. Before we get too far in it, first I want to ask you, Scott, is there anything on your list? Because this is probably going to take the better part of the show, I think.
No. Pretty much your list is my list.
Awesome. So as to remind the viewers of the mission of Winthrop Votes, we're here to provide transparency in local government. We've admittedly expanded a bit into providing, I guess I'll call it kind of a community service. Scott, I don't know, just trying to do things for the community, advertise for local businesses, have events. Am I missing anything?
No.
Good. So that's been the mission. And so we had this party last Friday that the goal of it was I admitted to celebrate a little bit of our victory of preserving what we think is a good decision in terms of flag policy in Winthrop, but also to have a party to show, hey, you can still have fly the flags you want to fly and everyone can get along. That was the goal of the party. Chattering class had a lot to say about it behind the scenes. But in the end, there were a lot of good outcomes and a lot of things for us to be excited and proud of as a Winthrop Votes community. Just highlights. We got coverage in the Globe article. And I'm sure this.
Thank you to whoever sent called them up and told them to come down.
Yeah. And I'm sure that if you recall,
that's your flag.
That's right. If you recall, there was a certain town councilor that thought that flag should not be flying on our town lawn.
Yeah, she said it was racist. Although
all right, I'm being a baby. I'm sorry.
Although our favorite father thinks I exaggerate that. Our favorite father.
Oh yeah. He's telling me right now. He's probably going like, "Oh, why isn't he?" If he's watching,
he's watching. Father Walter likes us. It's good fodder.
Hopefully he considers our stories in his homilies. I don't know. Do they do homilies in the Episcopalian Church? I don't know. Anyway, so we had the Globe article. We made some new connections. We dispelled some rumors and I would say outright lies. There were some opportunities. I would say there was a great opportunity that we'll talk about that was missed, a huge miss by the lurker class. And we got some good donations to the food pantry. So all in all, I said 5 to 20 people. I said 15, 20 people would be a win for such short notice.
That was short notice.
Yeah. We got about 20 come through. We met Caroline Colarusso, who's running for the Mass 5. I don't know if it's a district, a precinct, whatever, for Catherine Clark's seat. Catherine Clark's a houseplant. I mean, I watched the debate. Did you watch the debate?
No. But I just want to go back on the party just a minute.
We got plenty.
Glenn live streamed it. He was live streaming pretty much, and I'm in St. Augustine, and I was watching, right?
Yeah.
And it was, I have to say, a very diverse group.
Yes, it was.
That showed up.
Yes, it was.
It was not all white people, all white males. It was a very diverse group. So that right there shows whatever the perception is of Winthrop Votes and whatever, party you were having, the flag party sponsored by Winthrop Votes or the Winthrop Votes flag party, however you want to word it.
Yep.
It shows that there is a diversity of people that at least follow us, that like what we're doing because we got their attention and they showed up. And it was very nice. It looked pretty cool to me. I mean, it covered, I think, I don't know, a good diverse group.
It did. And here's one of my
people of color.
That's right. Of
saying
same sex or sexual orientations,
Yep.
And by the way, not what we talked about. Just we're happy to be there to be there, to have a couple laughs. I gave away some by the way, thanks for reminding me. So I want to thank the sponsors too. We had some sponsors. We had Ralph's Steakhouse, which I tried to get Glenn to tell me where they were located. Still don't know that.
Just Google them.
Yeah, right. Ralph's Steakhouse, Taitaki, which we know is down the center in the mall.
All right.
Semino's Meat Market. So Patsy and Sandro, those two guys are great because I go in there quite frequently, and they did. If you want cooked chicken cutlets right away, it's great. They donated. Nick's Place. And Rob DeMarco stopped by to drop off food to the food pantry.
Beautiful.
That was nice of him. Yep. And Kathleen Capuccio stopped by to give a donation as well. So we had some food for the food pantry. All in all, I think it was positive. And the number one thing for me that came out of this, so the big kind of
takeaway,
the takeaway, is the progress. I think we made some progress with the folks who actually sent the email that I got a hold of behind, that called everything racist and white supremacists. I sat with them, the Recchias, Stephanie and Vinny, and Father Walter. He was the referee.
He's good at that, I guess.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic.
He's good at that. I think he likes being in the mix.
Oh, he says he doesn't like to interject himself in the thing. I think he's full of it.
I think he does. I think he does.
He's gonna get mad.
His intentions are always good.
Well, that's right. I agree. And to that effect, I'm not going to speak for Father Walter, but I will say this. I'm disappointed in some of what I've heard about Father Walter's efforts, but that's a different conversation.
Yeah, it's nothing for Winthrop Votes.
No. So anyway, where was I going? Yeah. So the good news is we had a nice conversation. We did. It ended. The goal was to end better than where we started. We did that. I think that there was some places of agreement. There was certainly some places of disagreement. But all in all, I personally think there's something to build on, and I'm hoping to get with them again this week to have another discussion. Because again, that was the goal of this whole thing, right? That was the goal. And unfortunately, it wasn't just the Reckias that were part of the chattering class, but we had a chattering class that was behind the scenes. And I guess I'm going to start here with, I don't know what was going on over for Kids Only, but there, I know
This
Lee
was
Foley
during the party.
during the party.
Okay.
I know Lee Foley works there.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure everybody that kept coming outside and kind of staring at us, including Senator Lydia Edwards. I don't understand why that was happening. I don't understand why
Yeah.
Suzanne Leonard came over and took a picture of everything and was kind of angry. I don't know what was going on there, but that was lurking to me. When I talked about opportunities, there was a perfect opportunity to be inclusive and to come over and say, okay, you knew what was going on, but they could have pretended they didn't know what was going on. You know, they could have made 1,000,001 excuses to stick a hand out and say hi.
I'm just going to say this on that note. And this is just my opinion, and my opinion only. I think these people are so spoiled about having it their way for years, at least the last couple of years, that they really do not like anyone that opposes them, and they see us as an opposition. They have no intention of finding a middle ground. I'm convinced of that. They really they have hate in them. You can't change my mind on that. They have hate in them, and they have a victim mentality. And we kind of, rained on their parade. And now they will never, ever. We can extend an olive branch every single day. They won't do it. They have no intention of it. It's really too bad. It's really too bad.
Okay, so Wendy Millar writes in, the senator had an ice cream social and dance party with the FKO kids.
Good.
Okay, great. We'll talk more about that. Because no matter the case, she clearly knew what was going on across the street, because she come out and took a good long look at us across the street and then proceeded to go behind the shrubbery at Metcalf Square with the chattering class and chatter and peek out and go back in and peek out. And so again, missed opportunity. She came to Winthrop, and I gave her credit to the Republican, Winthrop Republican Committee Q&A session, I guess it called it. I didn't think it was useful because she could give a response and then you were done. You couldn't go back and say, well, wait a minute. I don't think you get a lot out of those things.
No. And she didn't know the definition of critical race theory. She thinks there is no definition for critical race theory.
Yeah.
It's right there on film. And that's pretty ignorant.
Yeah.
If you're going to address it, say, I don't fully understand it yet. Swallow your pride, Lydia. Swallow your pride. But she said, I don't know. There is no definition for critical race theory. I was amazed at that. And that's ignorance. And then dismissed it.
Yep.
So
but, yeah,
back to the program.
Back to the program. But you're on to the point, Scott, which is, again, missed opportunity, in my opinion. She came to that with the intention of saying, I want to hear what the people who don't support me have to say. I have made multiple overtures to this person to have that coffee or whatever would make her most comfortable. The only people I see her standing with are Lee Foley. So does she care about me? All right. So I know I'm not a vote for her. I get it. In fact, if I could find someone to run against her that might have a shot, I would. I get that. But I'm also sincere in my outreach to say, let's find some common ground. And here she knew what that party was. She knew full well what that party was. And she could have come over and said, let me lead on this issue and let me start trying to bring the other sides together. Let me pave the way. Because what I heard in my meeting with the Reckias was a lot of this, we're afraid. They were like Glenn
afraid of?
Glenn and that crew and the associations that are all kind of made up in their own heads, candidly. Like there's still no associations that I can see. But forget that. They have this fear. Okay, great. Lydia's an elected official. She's in it. I'm out in public. Glenn's out in public in the middle of the town square with the police watching. There is no safer place for the senator to come over, shake our hands. And anyway, back to the article though, Scott. And I reached out to people to find this guy, Alexander Thompson, because that's the guy who wrote the news article. Okay. He was the guy interviewing me.
Well, let me start off by saying it was a good thing that Glenn Montifalcone was live streaming it, because at one point you did look and say, I'm glad you're live streaming this so my words don't get taken out of context. Because I think they would have, just by reading. I read that article.
Yeah, and they didn't actually take them out of context, but what they did was they dropped off a whole section, and then they cleverly settled what I said in between. They sandwiched in between other things, right? That's what they do.
I mean, the Globe is it's a leftist, rag anyways. So
if you're charging $3.50 an issue, I know you need, if a subscription is cheaper, obviously, but $3.50 an issue for this, and not poor.
Well, they have a large audience in Massachusetts that hang on their every word. So why not capitalize on it?
I wonder if they're just counting all those like subscriptions to all the distributors who distribute the paper. They're counting those as, who drop them off at the stores and such.
I don't know. Like the transcript.
Yeah. So in Winthrop, the headline, of course, it's sensational. In Winthrop, little recognition on inclusion. Okay. So the first paragraph reads, I got poor lighting or poor eyes or something going on here. Okay. A year after a white supremacist gunman shot and killed 2 black residents in a rampage on a quiet residential street, the town is divided over what it means to be inclusive and what the town government's role in promoting inclusivity should be. Full stop right there. The town's not really divided. There were, how many people were at that meeting that night? 15. There's 15 people that want the town to do things that nobody else really thinks they need to do, whatever those things may be.
That was the town council meeting about the pride flag. And I love the fact that one of them said, we'll help you write it so the wording, just for their flag, though, just for their flag.
Right.
Mind you, this is what this is all about. It's all about them. It's for their flag.
In June of last year, days before the attack, a rainbow flag was raised on a pole in front of Town Hall to mark Pride Month for the first time in Winthrop. Members of the town's close-knit LGBTQ community hailed it as a milestone. I know it wasn't well attended. I know that. Okay. And we had 2 people on, one of whom we had 2 people on last 2 weeks ago, Father Walter and Brianna Malloy. Brianna Malloy didn't go to that, right? Didn't she say she didn't go to that?
She said they don't represent her also.
Right. So, and I'm not saying that to be derogatory towards this group that wanted that flag. It's not everybody. It's the small chattering class. So the newspaper is already starting to sensationalize this.
Divisiveness.
Yes. But this year, June came and went without any event to celebrate Pride or Juneteenth, increasing some residents who say that, incensing some residents who say the town dropped the ball at a time when it should be leading the way in promoting inclusion a year after the violent act of racist hate.
All right, let me stop right there.
Sure, yes.
There was no event, right?
No.
Listen, I didn't see Tracy Honan, Lee Foley, or any of them scrambling to get a permit to have an event. None of them. Joe Aiello, the panderer, none of them scrambled to help this. They're as guilty as everybody else if they want to point a finger. Why didn't one of them go get a permit? It's right. It's easy. You got one. They could have got a permit, said, we're going to have a pride celebration on the lawn right there. Have a pride party, but none of them. No, they're just finger pointers. They don't take action. They sit back and react. Prove me wrong, because you can't, because they prove themselves to be just chatterers, like you said. None of them stepped up. None of them stepped up. Lee Foley can be the victim. She's the biggest victim in Winthrop, if you ask me. She's the biggest victim in Winthrop. I didn't see her stepping up to get a permit for a gay pride celebration on the front lawn, the town green, right? And none of them did anything. They didn't. But they want to point the finger at Todd for having a flag party, Winthrop Votes Flag Party, and call it the Fun Happy America, whatever the hell the name of that group is. Super Happy Fun Banana Splits. I don't know.
And by the way, the 2 people I met, they were great. They were fine. Like Glenn is, listen, Glenn, if you're listening or you play this back, I've said this to your face, so I'm not speaking out of school. I don't think both your oars are hitting the water, buddy.
I love Glenn. I met him.
But I like you. You're definitely not dangerous.
He's a fun dude.
Yeah, he's not dangerous.
He's a pot stirrer.
Yeah.
I think he's a pot stirrer.
The button pusher.
He's not dangerous.
Not dangerous.
He's a good dancer. I saw him dancing.
Cut and rug.
Yeah. But like I said, none of them stepped up. So if any of you are watching or will watch this, you dropped the ball. This wasn't us stopping anything. It was you failing to step up for the people you represent, the people you stand up for. As a flag does nothing. A flag does zero. No one pays attention to flags, okay? You should have got up, got the permit, had an event. You had all month to do it, but no. What do? You just sit back and go, we can't fly the flag. Oh, let's all go to the town hall. We can't fly. Instead of just saying, hey, you know what? Let's have a party. Let's have a party. And then the Globe goes and points a finger at Letary, or Lydia Edwards had to scramble at the last minute.
Yeah,
she doesn't live in Winthrop, does she?
No, and Wendy writes here on the she writes in, there was a well-attended community organized Pride Juneteenth event on June 29th at Ingleside Park. Yeah, Wendy.
Then what's the problem?
Hold on, first of all, that was Lydia's event. What we're saying here is if you're going to come to town council meetings and BITCH, you don't need to. You could have done it yourself. What Lydia did, I have no idea why she did it.
Even the Globe says she scrambled.
That's right. Even the Globe said she scrambled. And by the way, as far as well attended, I don't know about that. As far what I heard, and I drove by it, by the way, it was definitely better attended than my party. But
it's irrelevant.
It was not, but it was not an outreach event. It was a let's stay on the inside event.
They had how many days in June? 30?
Mm-hmm.
They had 30 days. And it takes a state senator on the second to last day of the month to do this. So, Wendy, what about the other 28 days? What about that? You had all month, but no, they want to sit back and be victims because Winthrop votes and they all stepped up and we can't fly the flag. You were so focused on this flag issue. You were so obsessed with this flag issue that you dropped the ball. This is on you.
Yeah, totally.
This is not you, Wendy. This is on everybody that was all the finger pointers, all the victims, all the people that went to the town council meeting and cried that they can't get their flag up and they don't feel safe. And this is a dangerous situation we're in. And I fear for my life. I watched the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Just saying. You had 28 days. You had 30 days for someone from Winthrop to do something. And they didn't. And you can't say we did because Lydia Edwards did that. She doesn't live in Winthrop.
That's right.
She doesn't live in Winthrop. So you could have had a gay pride celebration on the lawn. I'm sure Kurt Millar would have DJ'd it phenomenally.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure everyone would have had a good time.
We had to thank Kurt.
They're not getting off the hook that easy. Now, they're going to sit back and go, but he doesn't understand that. I'm right.
No,
Prove me wrong.
I'm not disagreeing. We got to thank Kurt Millar, by the way. If you need a DJ, look him up. He's fantastic.
Yeah, use him.
He was great. He really was because he was nimble. I love nimble. So let's continue because there's so much more in this article. Following my last statement, the very least we can do for those members of our community is to fly a flag, resident Ann Page said at a June 21st town council meeting. So, by the way, this article is conflating the June 21st meeting, the last year's attack on our neighbors, and my event, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, they didn't mention the tree planting either.
No, they didn't mention the tree. No. They left that out.
Of course.
So I just want to comment on the fly a flag again. To Scott, you said this earlier. Flying a flag. We had Brianna on, and she was pretty clear in her sentiment that those virtue signals do nothing, and it's only for the dopamine hit of the virtue or the virtue signaler. It's only for you guys because we got to have more people in the community that are gay or lesbian than what is chattering at the meetings and going to those potluck events. Do we not?
No.
Anyway, going on.
Let me see something. Hold on. Yep. How's this? I live in Boca Raton. Okay. I fly up to Winthrop. Before Corona at least once a year. I will go up and pull a permit to throw a party next June, a gay pride party, and I'll invite everybody and it'll be a good time because I don't drop the ball. If you want to have a party, I'll do it for you. How's that? I'll offer to pay for the permit. I'll get the food, whatever.
Well,
That's how you do it.
Yep. It's very easy, actually. I can help.
Yeah.
So the article goes on to address a bunch of different things, right? As you can imagine. And then our friend here, I got to remind everybody of his name because he's actually not a journalist for the Globe. He worked for a Somerville paper. He's just they outsourced it to him. Alexander Thompson. I want to correct the record again. He tries to intimate that other communities had pride events, to shame Winthrop. That's kind of what's done there. And while it's true, it is true that other communities had events. We have no idea what actually happened. I'll give you, for instance, is it possible in Revere that Steve Morabito, an elected official who is a openly gay man, organized the event himself? Unknown. The city council could have organized it. All that stuff may or may not be true. That's just kind of conjecture thrown out there with kernels of truth in it to make it seem like Winthrop's a racist community. But what this guy leaves out, the part that's frustrating, is there is a constitutional challenge here. Even though he tries to cover his butt by saying, or someone in the meeting tried to cover their butt by saying that the Boston case was specific to the city's policy for allowing any and all flags, right? That's what got them in trouble because then they had to make a decision not to fly one. Well, what difference does it make? Someone in the crowd that night tried to say, well, you can fly flags for federal holidays. Okay, fine. But Pride Month is not a federal holiday. So there'll be no pride flag still, right? Or, hey, how about what happens on Christmas? That's a federal holiday. I mean, you could go a million different places.
We've said this from the beginning. We said if they want to fly, if the rule states they can fly the pride flag, then you, on the 4th of July, can fly the Gadsden flag. And somebody else can fly a flag they want. This is not we are only the pride flag situation. And they're really looking past that. They won't face the fact that if theirs gets flown, everybody's has to get flown.
They don't get
and
it.
They don't want it. I mean, like I said, the lady in the town council meeting said, well, I'll help you write it to avoid a lawsuit. We can word it properly. Yeah, for them.
Right. For them.
For them. So okay, there's down here in Miami. There's a town in Miami. It's actually the part of Miami where that building collapsed. The mayor, a Jewish guy, he shot down the pride flag too. And it was a simple reason. Because then somebody wanted to fly the satanic flag. Then somebody wanted to fly this flag. And he said, it's better to just not fly any flags than to all of a sudden set yourself up for a lawsuit because someone's going to say no. Someone's going to say, you can't fly the satanic flag. Well, I have a satanic holiday, and I want to fly that. You flew the pride flag. You flew this flag. You flew that flag. But they don't think about that. They only look at themselves. And no one else matters. Anyways.
Well, this is a good spot to stop for a second and just kind of throw some logic out there a little bit. There is only one flag that represents everybody. There's only one. And that's the American flag. It is the only flag that is supposed to represent all of us, regardless of creed, color, right? Why would anyone argue against having that be the only flag that represents them on a city lawn or a town lawn, and then just fly, if you want to have a party to fly flags on the town lawn, if you want to have a Christmas party, pull a permit, bring out a menorah. Bring out a Christmas tree. If you want to have, Hanukkah, bring out a menorah. If you want to have whatever you want to have, pull a permit, have the party. I don't get why that is offensive. And I'm thinking it's because it eliminates the complaining, and they have to. That means we can't be miserable anymore. I mean, I honestly.
I gotta highlight this one. There we go. Comment of the night. I want to fly the Zamboni flag, buddy. We'll get that done. That's the comment of the night. Go on.
All right, so let's see here. So article goes on to talk about how Winthrop's changing. There is coming a passing of the guard of sorts within Winthrop. Local attorney Emily Curtis said at the Pride potluck. It's now younger and more diverse families beginning to outnumber older white folks who have been here for multiple generations. Full stop. No, that's
Not
statistically incorrect.
Yeah.
Why is that being printed, and why is that person saying this statement about
fed him
color?
that? Because I'm sure he didn't do the research.
Well,
someone fed him that information.
Right, but I'm talking about not the guy writing the article. This Emily, this local attorney, Emily Curtis.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You know that's factually incorrect, and you say that?
Get to the point. Get to the part of that says about the Latin community.
Oh, I think I skipped over that. Hold on. You want me to read that?
Yeah, it says something about the Latin population has dropped in Winthrop, right?
Indeed.
So,
you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Indeed, Winthrop is changing. Between 2000 and 2021, the non-Hispanic white population fell from 91 to 83% of the population. So that means the white population fell, right?
Yeah.
And the pride flag. Okay, yeah. And the pride flag has been hanging off more than a dozen porches across town.
So so how is this not an inclusive town?
Good question.
It's the stats are stats.
You have to disbelieve what you see, what you hear, and what is fact.
And by the way, again, what they fail to see as they sit in their $700,000 houses in Winthrop, as they sit in their nice living rooms, or their $300,000 condo, or their $3,000 a month apartment that they rent, all right? As they sit there and point fingers, right? It's simple economics. Winthrop has outpriced a lot of the population. The more the housing cost goes up, the more the rent goes up, the less people are prone to come to Winthrop. Unless you are in that status, you are in that group. You know, you're within that realm of I can pay for the rent and the mortgage, or you know, whatever. It's simple economics. It's not that we're preventing people from coming into Winthrop. They don't look at that. It's simple economics.
I'd argue, by the way, that some of this gentrification is the fault of what people like Lee and Julia want. They want those micro condos that attract non-families, that attract high earners who shop locally, which is great, who don't buy cars, which is cool, I guess, but they don't have families.
When was the last time a lower middle class person could buy an electric car?
Right, exactly. That's the point. And when's the last time they'd want to live in a 2-bedroom condo, right? We don't
for $3,000 a month.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is in my opinion, the people locally who are pushing this type of construction and building, I don't think they realize that
they don't care.
They don't know. Well, maybe they may not even know that what they push is leading to this it's hurting the people they claim to care about. But anyway, okay. So the article goes on. But the 2021 rampage served as a wake-up call for the many, signaling that Winthrop, including its government, needed to take a more active role in countering hate. Oh, here we go. Standing beside Curtis, the lawyer who just made up facts or made up stats, standing beside Curtis at the potluck, resident Leonora Foley was blunt. I don't think the town has made a lot of progress mentally with what actually happened and taking responsibility for creating that environment, she said.
Yeah, we created that environment. She's insane.
She just blamed us for that happening, essentially. Did she not? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, okay, side note here. So much winning, right? Going back to the good things that come out of that meeting. Here's another good thing that comes out of that, that Winthrop Votes has done in terms of winning. We're going to do so much winning. We're going to do so much winning. It's not going to be believable. I got to go get my Trump hat just to make people angry. So this is another good thing. I have learned that the desired effect that I'm going for, by the way, is to isolate the folks in our community that are causing problems unnecessarily is taking effect. Because Lee Foley, if you're watching, and Julia, if you watch, you know your One Winthrop group has changed pretty dramatically in terms of its membership. And I happened to have a nice conversation with the person who left that group. And they left it because they had the same feeling about the radicalness as I have. So I think it's time. That's another win for us, because we'll find people that to work with who want to kind of try to meet in the middle if One Winthrop doesn't want to. Okay, so there was that. Okay. The town is working with the Diversity Commission appointed after the attack to put together a schedule of celebrations for occasions like Juneteenth and Pride Month next year, Lettieri told the Globe in an email. So the Diversity Commission, you're watching, Father
They dropped
Walter.
the ball too.
Yeah, you guys have been very silent. You've dropped the ball in a number of things. You were getting there. Yep. You were coming around and becoming legitimate. By the way, I'm going to make it public. I have asked Father Walter to speak up for me, and Jim Lettieri to put me on that Diversity Commission. I want to be on it. I think if the right people are on there, we can actually do something meaningful. Anyway, just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Some say the town's progressives are progressives. Read much? Some say the town's progressives are trying to impose their agenda on local government. So this gets to me. Fly any flag you want, they say, but only the American flag should fly on the pole in front of town hall. So that was Alexander paraphrasing me. That's somewhat accurate. On July 1st, Todd Sacco, a former school committee member, and a handful of others stood on the town green on a hot afternoon, chatting and eating pizza. They flew a straight pride flag and a gay pride flag with the snake and "Don't Tread on Me" of the Gadsden flag superimposed on it in the steady breeze. The Gadsden flag is a Revolutionary era flag that has recently been adopted as a symbol of right-wing libertarianism. Okay. You didn't ask me about it. You didn't ask me what it meant. You just made, those are all assumptions, sir, because the conversation we had about that flag was very different. And if you ask me what it really meant to me, it's actually not a Gadsden flag. It's not a pride flag per se. I just want it for me, because I bought this flag for me. It's my flag. It's "Don't Tread on Me." And in the month of June, I was saying, "Don't tread on me," and I'll support the gay community my way. And that was my way of supporting it. That's why I brought that flag. That's why I had the flag party. And that was mentioned in the interview, but Alexander didn't bother to put that in there. So I'm hoping that he's hearing the record being corrected. You're right. Though the gathering on the town green was small, their views represent those of others in Winthrop. 37% of the town's voters pulled the lever for Donald Trump in 2020. The Globe reported at the time. I'll stop there. How do you know that we all voted for Trump? Like, what is the connection to Trump all about?
Has nothing to do with anything.
Right? This is such a dishonest
That man
article.
absolutely devastated their brains. One man absolutely devastated a whole wing of a political party.
And we're not talking about this Alexander character.
Can't get him out of their head. They cannot. It's amazing how that guy absolutely decimated an entire wing of a political party.
And by the way, if you want to talk about who's having a better presidency, Biden or Trump, I think it's pretty clear.
Let's stick to the Globe. But they just have to bring. It's insane.
It's utterly insane. People in Winthrop take extra. So then they go on. They talk about Hannah Belcher, and I wanted to quote Hannah Belcher in here because she was at the potluck event. She's been a good addition to the town council, in my opinion. And she says something here that I think is important. I think she's correct. People in Winthrop take extraordinary pride in their town, she said. And when people start poking at that and looking to change, even when it's for the better, initially it can be seen as an affront to the way that we've been and the way that we've done things in the past. And she's right.
And she's deep rooted in Winthrop.
That's right. She's been here her whole life too. I mean, even now,
Well,
obviously,
her family is like some of the original people that came to Winthrop.
yeah, they're like Vikings or something, aren't they?
I don't know about that.
Well, anyway, so she but she's right. Even if the change is for the better, and obviously that's going to be a matter of opinion, right? That is going to be a matter of opinion if the change for the better or not, right? Like we're trying to, our state representative is trying to get money for Winthrop for the point. So, Yarrow Beach starts as you take the curve.
Yeah.
Past the yacht club, right? The Winthrop Yacht Club.
That's all landing. Yeah.
Yeah. Past the landing on the left, as you're heading down the point, is that green space there. Turn it into a parking lot and charge people money who come here, because the people who live down the point are getting squeezed out of their parking spots because people the summer visitors come and they park all over the point. And it'd be a great place to sell permits for the local vendors to local shops to have vending down at the beach. I mean, people are looking for stuff to do down there, and the beach is always packed.
Winthrop just has way too many cars, man.
Well, you're right. You're never going to satisfy the parking demand.
Way too many cars. I was like, wow, this was crazy.
But that
seen it like that.
But you could imagine it's like little cottage businesses popping out of that. Like, I don't know, like
it was just an observation.
Bikes, those bike people shuttling people back and forth on bikes, and I don't know. You never know.
Never know.
Who knows? So anyway, that was the article. All in all, I don't know what you think. I mean, you obviously were a little far away, but I feel like a lot of wins for us. I feel like it was not well attended, but attended well enough.
Listen, it was a last minute thing. You got the attention that you needed, that you wanted to get, right? I still think that they will never, ever try to find middle ground. Never. It's just not in them. The left. Mm-hmm. There are moderate liberals. There's conservative liberals, conservative Democrats. But not that group. They'll just hate us. Well, because we get in their way.
Maybe the goal now is to just try to keep as many people from being poisoned by them.
Well, that's up to the individual person to decide whether they agree with them or not. And as you said, I don't have anything to do with that Facebook group, any of them. But from what you said, a lot of people bailed on it because it got too radical. Now, let me stop right there. I actually want to address this. And I'm putting myself out there saying I was wrong, and I should probably let me see, where was it? 18 comments. So I posted something on the Winthrop Votes Facebook group. It's a Filipino girl talking about, if you think you're oppressed, tour the world. If you think you're oppressed, it's a minute long. If you want to see it, go to the Facebook group Winthrop Votes, and it just makes all the sense in the world. So I had said in the post, I said to the liberal lurkers in this group, and they are in this group, and that's okay, that think America is an oppressive country, blah, 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 blah. So somebody called me out on that, right? I won't say her name, but we kind of had a little back and forth. Actually, two people called me on. I'm assuming they're liberals, right? One of them said, "Why would there not be people with liberal views in a group that is supposed to be about issues relevant to voters? Is this a conservative voters group?" I said, "No." Did you read that I said that it's okay? Then they took offense to, well, why do you have to say it's okay? And this just kind of went on, like they just weren't let. But I will admit this. Listen, I was wrong in posting that and probably a couple of other posts on this Facebook group, because I'm the first one to say every Facebook group turns into a garbage can after a while. And that's not what that group is for. Although the Facebook group is just a vehicle for the live stream, We never really expected much of it, and it's really not an active group. I probably shouldn't be, fanning the flames and just pointing things at liberals. That's not what the group is for. She was right. And I actually I told her, I said, after a little thought, you're right. I probably shouldn't do that. And I won't do that. So from this point on, I won't attack any liberals on that group, in that Facebook group, because again, I'm just fanning the flames and it will turn into a garbage can if that keeps on going. So I was wrong in doing that. I admit that. The Facebook group is for Winthrop, but Facebook groups notoriously always head south.
It's relatively
it's
quickly.
Inevitable.
Yeah.
I'm surprised this one hasn't gotten bad, but everybody's pretty cool. And it's a mood thing. You see something and you're like, you know what? But it doesn't make any difference because you're not changing anyone's mind, right? So on the Facebook group, I will refrain from pointing fingers at liberals. And she was right. She said it's Winthrop votes. It's supposed to be about Winthrop. So with that said, I can only speak for myself.
That's true. Okay, that's fair, right? It's all true.
It's for the Facebook. I'll post that on my personal page.
Yeah. But there is, but something has to be considered. It's not necessarily attacking liberals per se. I mean, it turns out that way because of the differing viewpoints. But one of the traits that is in, like, someone posted this on Facebook. I should have copied it and I didn't, but they've posted this, that if you don't like, if a conservative doesn't like doing something, they just won't do it. If a liberal doesn't like doing something, they'll tell you guys not to, everyone else not to do it too, type thing, right? I mean, there is an element of that, and that stuff does need to be discussed. I suppose is a better way to say it.
During the conversation with the second woman, I did say, so am I supposed to censor myself? Am I supposed to, so I don't offend anybody? Not post this when the issue is raised by the leftist liberals saying this country is a disgrace, this country is full of oppressors. And I posted in the conversation, and they were really quick to get comments like, say, off Twitter of, why would Brittany, whatever her name is, want to come back from Russia to such an oppressive country? That's not a conservative talking.
No, it's not.
It's not a conservative talking. So with that said, I said, can I not rebut what that says? But then, is the Winthrop Votes Facebook group the place to do that? No.
Yeah.
No. I'd just stick to my own personal page, and, I throw them in sporadically, but there's a lot of nonsense on there too. But
Father Walter calls out the Globe again. The Commission for Diversity was created a year before the hate crimes. The Globe said the hate crimes were the spark for the Diversity Commission.
So there you go.
Good catch.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I missed that part of the column.
What a rag. Who would pay for that newspaper?
Oh. Well, no, and who called them, right? You got to think that the group across the street called them and said that the Fun Happy America, whatever, is going to be there because the guy asked you. Now, the live stream is somewhere on the Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
Seek it out. It's from the third, what was it? The 2nd of July? The 1st of July.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy, I don't know. It's just.
Well, they came in saying this is the first thing they asked. It was 3:01. Is this the white supremacist rally or something like that? Right?
That's right. And he said, is this the Fun Happy America party? And you said, what are you talking about? He says, well, I was told.
Right.
I was told this was a Fun Happy America party. And you said, no, this is a Winthrop Votes flag party. Oh, well, I was told that this, and it's on the live stream.
That's right. It's on the live stream.
To you.
Yep, that's right.
And the live stream is up. Once the live stream is over, it stays up on the page, as people know.
Yep.
So this guy came there with the intention that somebody told him. So this is almost like, it's almost like there's a thing out there for YouTubers and live streamers there's some conservative live streamers and there's some conservative podcasters that have been what they call swatted, right? Swatted is when somebody calls the police and says, hey, this guy, Jim Smith at 52, blah, blah, blah street, has a gun. He's held up and his wife is in there screaming. So the police come to the house, and they don't come just two cops.
Right.
They come.
They bring a team.
And what happens is they end up going into the house when this guy's just live streaming. And it's always done to conservatives, right? So this was a form of swatting by someone calling the Globe saying, hey, there's a Fun Happy America party on the Winthrop lawn, the Winthrop Greens. You might want to go there. And the guy was like, what? This isn't the party? No? And so he had to change his whole thing. So he was misled by somebody that told him, I was told, that's what he said, I was told this was Fun Happy America party. So There you go.
I mean, I think that whole thing backfired on one Winthrop, because I'm sure it was someone from that chattering class, and because there was nothing to their claims. And again, Father Conley, you're right. The guy, the newspaper guy, also claimed that the LGBTQ community is tight knit. I didn't know this until. Who gave him that information? Who said that? Yeah, that's a good question.
Because the guy doesn't live in Winthrop, so he has to talk to somebody, and somebody probably said, "I want to talk off the record." But this very tight knit group, and don't quote me because I don't want to blah blah blah. This guy was fed this information.
Absolutely, yep.
And just like a typical reporter, journalist of today, which they're not, they're activists. They're not journalists. Journalism is dead. They're all activists. And this guy did no due diligence, didn't question more than one or two people, and goes and writes an article in the Metro section of the Globe.
So here's the bigger question. We know it's assuming we're correct about it being
we can only assume
the one Winthrop group. What is the motivation? Why
shine us in a bad light? They want to shine us in a bad light.
But they've been kind of doing this stuff before we
doesn't matter.
Got together. So the point is, what are they? I guess what I'm getting at, Scott, what I'm trying to figure out is this. Let's use Lee Foley as an example. We've proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, certain things she says are absolutely false. The whole notion of this party that she had was absolutely false. She knew it. There's no way she couldn't know it. It was all made up. So does she believe that, or is she sick? I mean, what is
it? Somebody just sent me a text, and I'm going to read the text.
Okay, go for it.
In the Globe article, Leonora Foley, her, said this, that the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee was formed in response to the shooting. Does she ever get anything right? Right?
No.
And then they said, however, as Father Conley points out in a Facebook comment, the committee was formed 1 year before the shooting. But there you go. There you go.
Oh, wrong, Scott. He spoke with several people.
Taken around to speak with the correct people. I was not on the list. Taken around to speak with the correct people.
Good one, Walter.
That says it all.
You better smarten up, Scott.
No. I think what he's saying is they were selected on talk to this person, that person.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what
you're
saying.
That's what he means by that.
Yes, that's
because he was not on the list. And you notice the guy would not even look at Glenn Montefalcone. And Glenn says he won't talk to me. So they must have pointed him out and said, "Don't talk to him."
Well, they probably slandered the heck out of him, because the reality is,
he said that the guy would not even look at Glenn.
Glenn's got the Trump disease where he opens his mouth and it gets him in trouble. Like, I got it too, but Glenn and Trump have it times 1,000, right? Like everything, Glenn, but I think Glenn does it deliberately. I think he just likes to get a rise out of people and doesn't know when to stop. He was pushing me, and he was pushing me, and I'd be sending him texts going, what is going on here? Don't start, don't start. This party is going the way I want it to, not you. Like, he's a button pusher.
He's a wild card.
Yeah,
Glenn is what I call a wild card.
He is.
You
You
never know
him.
what you're going to get, but you know it's going to be effing interesting. You know it's going to be interesting.
To say the least.
Exactly. And you know what? God bless him for being able to be like that. A lot of people don't have that personality. They don't have the guts to be as outspoken as he is. And is he right? No, not all the time. I should say, is he right all the time? No. Am I right all the time? No. Todd's not right all the time. Father Conley's not right all the time.
Whoa.
Nah, I'm sorry. Just call it the way I see it. And of course, that's the way it goes. But Glenn, I don't want to give him any more airplay. He's going to have a fan club in a minute. But I give him credit for having the guts to speak his mind.
Yeah.
It's not the norm. Seems like.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not.
Well,
so on the note about the party, kind of to wrap it up in a bow, I said it was going to be annual, and I mean it. I want to try to keep it going, but I think next year, I had this epiphany that I'm not going to fully share with the audience yet about going forward with it, to make it more of a party, that more people from all different walks of life will show up to, and not feel like it's a political event, but it's more like a community event.
That's a good idea.
Right? Like on its surface.
Listen, it evolves. Everything evolves.
On the surface, Scott, let's be honest about human behavior. Humans in general, not just you and me, humans in general can get along with people they don't like, right? For the need of the greater good, right? So for instance, I could get along. I don't like Lee Foley. I don't like her. I don't like what she does. I feel like she's a bully. We all know this. But if she would show some sense of compromise, I could get along with her for the greater good. And the point in all of that, though, is we can't think everybody we get along with is really nice, because you don't really know a person until you really know a person, right? And so all this feeling stuff has no room in politics. And
that's human nature. I worked 22 years with U.S. Customs and Border Protection, 10 in the Air Force. Carried a gun. I worked with people who carry guns, officers side by side. A lot of them, not a lot of them, there was a good handful. I did not like them. And they did not like me, but we got the job done.
That's it.
And we did it well. Because at work, we acknowledge, we're courteous. Well, we have some arguments behind the scenes, but in the end, we got to show up at the same job the next day.
You got to find a way to work together.
And we have a mission, and we have to complete that mission regardless. How'd you like to drive around for 8 hours with somebody you don't like?
And worry about if they're going to have your back, right? Kurt,
let's see.
I was impressed with you.
No, they always have a back. That's one thing you could guarantee.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I was impressed with you and Glenn for not feeding into the two guys. I mean, we should have filmed more of those guys and played clips of those two clowns, but Kurt.
You don't want to give them the airtime.
That's true. Kurt, you don't know how hard it was. That's all I'm going to say.
They're just disruptors. Glenn was doing a live stream and the guy was following him. And even Glenn didn't interact with him.
That's right.
So let's see. Kathleen Capuccio says, the reporter didn't perform his due diligence and/or was not told by the feeders of the article of the beautiful displays at our middle and high school celebrating Pride Month, and also the tree planting in honor of David and Ramona. And I'm sorry, Kathleen, I said I would read this, but we had a lot going on in this show. Those were absolutely left out on purpose because they reflect positive on the town, and the goal of this article, as the feeders to it, was to make Winthrop out to be a hateful place.
I agree.
And that's exactly right. Why do they insist that Winthrop is hateful and oppressive and not diverse and not inclusive? I don't know where they see this. I don't know where. Listen, I even said this to the chief of police. That incident that happened with David and Ramona, that unfortunate incident, was an anomaly. It was an absolute anomaly.
That's right.
It's not the norm. But they were feeding on, and they're still feeding on that like a shark on a dead whale.
What could we do different?
They don't have answers.
There's
They just
nothing
point
to-
fingers. You know what we can do different that would make a world of change? I'm going to be
Fly a
blunt.
flag.
Exactly.
Let's fly a flag.
Exactly.
Why, is the flag
will make them
bulletproof?
feel safe.
Is the flag clairvoyant? Is it an oracle?
I don't know. Can the flag protect somebody down the point?
I don't know.
Is
Is it
somebody
too
going
far
to come
away?
into this town very hateful and say, "Oh shit, they got a pride flag. I gotta go. I better go back to Revere."
Yeah.
Like,
We
is
should
that
put 'em
gonna-
at the-
Whoa.
We should fly them at the two ends of the town, Revere side and East Boston side, so everyone knows to stay away.
Well, according to the article, there's a whole bunch of pride flags flying in with them. That should get the message across to anybody that's hateful.
It's like garlic and vampires or witches.
It's almost like they want to be victims. They just want to be victims.
Yeah.
And they always have a problem, but they don't have their solution is the only solution. There's no give and take here.
I still want to know how many of those people at the meeting that night were actually gay or lesbian, and B, showed up to the event on Wednesday night, because there was an event the following night that I don't think any of those chattering, cackling people went to. I don't think they went. None of them went to it. They went to the
Council
Lydia event, but they didn't go to the town event.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, it's
They
really
didn't go.
listen. They just want to shine Winthrop in a bad light so they can step up and be virtuous.
Well, I take offense
That's what,
to that,
from
'cause I
their
live here.
$700,000 houses. Minimum. Minimum.
I take offense to that because I live here and I'm none of the things they accuse me of. None of them.
Well, you're not going to change their mind. And these are just the facts. I'm not making this up. It really is kind of like, and I was talking to my stepson today about, he asked me about the show, and I said, listen, we have somewhat of a bad reputation with the liberal group in Winthrop because we oppose them. But I said, we've offered people to come on the show, come on the live stream, and talk to us. We've had a handful of people, from politicians to people that just regular people. Not one of them has gotten blindsided. Not one of them has gotten yelled at or a finger pointed at or an accusation made at them. But yet they won't come on because, like Father Walter said when he came on, I'm going to catch hell for this just for coming on. He said, I was already getting it. Why? Right? Why is that? Why can't they just say, you know what, Father Walter, go for it. Good for you. Bob DeFelice was told not to come on this show. He said, I was warned. What is that all about?
And they killed me.
Yeah. Well, here we are at episode 46, and there's no end in sight.
And by the way, I don't know if you were looking, Scott, but the episode with Brianna and Father Walter is almost 700. That's a record for us, 700 views, pushing 700 views.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. So, I mean, look, if any one of them wants to come on and have a discussion, ask us what we're about. We'll ask you what you're about, and we're going to have a discussion. It's not hard. It's just like doing a Zoom meeting, right? Except it's live.
And if anybody out there, I'm hoping somebody's at least watching this for Lydia, because I put it out there that we were going to be talking about her. I'll go anywhere. If you don't want to come on here, I'll go on your show. I'll go talk to you in front of anybody. I just want to have the opportunity to talk to you directly and challenge some of the answers you give to the questions that are asked of you. That
she won't.
And you're probably right, Scott.
She won't.
And we can do it in private first too, and I'll stay off the record if you want.
She won't have the answers.
No, well,
she didn't have the answers at the Republican Party thing.
That's right.
Meet and greet.
Anywho.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, that was
there you go.
That one, there you go is right. This does make the case, though. Again, it does continue to draw a big dark circle around the fact that all politics starts at the local level, and really it stays here. Even the federal stuff, when you think about abortion, and I don't want to bring up a federal issue, Scott, but at the end of the day, the feelings are the same, right? And here locally, most of us in Winthrop know, Nothing changes in Massachusetts. And so level-headed people are like, okay, there's a fight somewhere in some other state, but that's not our fight. It's really only the nosy Karens of the world that want to fight about this thing. And they get the people in all the places like Seattle and Boston and California and all those liberal places. They get them all riled up and fired up to cause chaos. Stay away from those debates.
Leo Haskell, night.
The hottest working man in show business. I mean, Winthrop.
Hottest working man in show business. That's what I call him.
Anyway.
So who do we have on next week?
So I'm waiting to confirm. You and I actually have to talk offline real quick, but we could have Caroline Colarusso on next week. She showed up for the party, the flag party on the 1st. She is a Republican candidate for the Mass 5 district, I guess, for Congress. She's running against Catherine Clark. I watched the debate from 2020. And it's so clear, like, forget about issues. Just forget about what you think of the issues. You had one person just spewing talking points and the other person answering with substance. It was clear who the better debater was and who used actual facts and data to respond. The question is, do you agree with her positions? But we're going to get her on. She wants to do the show. You and I have to talk offline about that, just how we want to format it, because it's a little bit higher level now. So anyway, we'll talk offline about that. But yeah, probably next week.
Yeah, that's fine. That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, again, she's not going to get treated any different than anyone else that's come on the show.
Nope.
You know? What?
I was disconnected myself. I couldn't hear you. Anywho.
All right. Well, listen, that was a pretty good show, buddy.
Yeah, good show. Good discussion. And all good. Lots of winning. So much winning.
See, when you do that, you just yeah.
Guys, if you get triggered by that, I'm trying to desensitize you. It may not be working, so maybe I'll stop.
No, and you know what? And the lady that I was conversing with in the Facebook group, she even said she takes it with a grain of salt.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, she just, I guess, just didn't like the word liberal being thrown out there, because it's pointed at them. So a lot of them do just take it with a grain of salt, and they know what to expect. And once again, I will refrain from doing that on the Facebook group. Again, I'm surprised this thing hasn't gone to hell in a handbasket earlier. Right. And it's still pretty, and I even said to it, it's not really that active. It's not really that active, which is good, I guess. People look at it, and so what does Kevin Corkum said? Some people are so full of hate. This is a free country. Please respect your neighbors' freedom to express themselves without judgment. Amen, brother. Amen.
Unfortunately, that doesn't happen, but you're right.
Everyone has at least one liberal they know.
I think we should dedicate a show to figuring out the real definition of that, because I've been actually called that, a liberal, believe it or not. I've been called a liberal. I mean, I don't want to get lost in the details, but I'm on the pro-choice side of things.
It's not a hill I'm going to die on. My opinion.
No. The point being, I'm not hard to any one side or the other.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Actually, Wendy, I'm gonna touch on. She said everyone has at least one liberal they know. All right, I'm gonna let a secret out of the bag, Wendy. This is a big conservative secret. We actually talk to each other, and we say, I have a liberal friend. Yeah.
Yeah. Whoa.
Oh, you can't. I have a friend that's liberal.
Oh, of course you do.
I have a friend that's liberal.
You probably have a gay one too.
We're really good friends. That's how we talk to each other. I know it's out there now. So you got the secret out of me.
Too much. Too much.
I have a friend that's liberal. It's okay. Yeah. So, all right. You want to take us out?
Yeah, let's go. Everybody, listen, good night. Thank you. Scott will get to the good part about what we think of our audience and how important you guys are.
Better not steal my line.
Won't. Please continue to pay attention locally, and let's grow this program. It's working. Whether you think so or not, it's working. And so all politics starts at the local level. It should stay at the local level. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and share, share, share.
Yep. And like I always say, thank you for watching. Thank you for participating. You are the engine that makes this show drive. Without you, it would just be me talking to Todd, and that doesn't always turn out well. And to quote my favorite artist, Morrissey, doing this show for you guys, the pleasure, the privilege is mine and Todd's. And that's how I'll end it. Look at you. Yeah. All right, we'll see you next Monday night.